Hi, welcome back.
Good to be back. Hello.
So Ankita is here and she stayed back. This is the second episode we are recording. And did you know something about Ankita? She has been in corporate, she's done the marketing thing, she's run an agency, but she was also an influencer before the term influencer was popular. So we call her
Yes.
an ex-influencer. And
Ex-influence.
let's pick her brain about this entire thing about being influencer
Yes.
and being an ex-influencer and the journey and the non-journey and all that. But before that, let's go to Nisha and then to Ankit.
I'm so intrigued. I'm delighted to finally meet a blogger who started blogging when blogging was the thing. It was kind of just happening in the world. We had come to understand that there is a thing called blogging. Basically, visual recording and recording the times of our lives. And also, it's interesting that one day people will look back and say, oh, that's how the world was like. I think that the internet gave us this opportunity to diarize our life and things that we kind of associate or resonate with in a way that it kinds of become a record, so to speak, of our times.
Which is actually true. Yeah. Like Anoop said, yeah, I'm an ex-influencer. I think I was way ahead of the curve. Been there, done that before the world caught on to it. And
So,
then
how did
changed
this
course.
journey start, Gita? What made you do this?
So I started, like you said, I started blogging literally on, not even on WordPress, on Blogger. And I started this in 1994.
The OG.
The very early ones who had no clue what they were doing, clearly. And I think it was just a bunch of people who used to like to write, but they had no avenue to put their writings out into the world back then because, there was only traditional publishing available. So when blogging platforms became available, you could share fiction, short fiction, unedited fiction, your thoughts and into the world. And back when I started, that was the first time you felt that you were part of a community which was like-minded individuals outside of your physical world you were able to meet. So friends I have from those days, which I've never met. Been blogging since 1994. So it's how many years has it been? It's been over 2 decades now. I haven't met those people, but we are still friends. So we will message each other, chat with each other. We know what's going on in each other's lives, but we've never physically met. And some great friendships were born then from people who were just writing and expressing their thoughts. Some people were commenting on what's happening in the world, news, sports, just sharing every women fancy. For me, I have this secret ambition of being a published fiction author someday. And I thought that's a good platform to start practicing. So I would write stories and I would publish as you go was my model. So I would write a few paragraphs and I would just publish. I would write and I would publish. So there was no editing, no way of going back and changing something that's happened. It's like live writing just happening. And somehow I found this wonderful community who hyped me up and said, oh, you're so good. You should continue. You should do more of this and that. And that's how blogging began. And over time, as I gained life experiences, I started writing about those, getting married, moving to a different city, having kids, all of that kind of inculcated into my writing. And then is when a lot of companies realize that there's this huge community that people follow them, people read them, people engage with them. So it's an untapped marketing channel. And at that time, today, what we call micro influencers. Back then, that is what these people, these bloggers were like. We did not have audiences of lakhs of people, millions of followers. That wasn't there. It was a few hundreds, a few at max who were there with you, but the people who were there who were engaging. So if somebody would recommend a product or just put out a review, it meant that people would genuinely take it to be true. And back then, we also observed that people would use a product, people would actually go through that particular experience and then say, okay, this was my experience engaging with the product, engaging with the brand. So it did come with that sense of responsibility, saying I'm recommending something to, so it's my word out there. So I need to be sure, I need to be convinced. That's how it began when it was early days. Monetization had just begun. And I remember there were these platforms that today I think there is Blog Chatter is still there. That's one of the platforms that helps people do that. And we had Indie Blogger back then, which was very popular with The company shut down, unfortunately, but it was one of the companies that used to really help connect brands with bloggers. And many more came in between, but this was a few successful ones. And I had a very good run between, I think, 2012 to 2016, worked with a lot of big brands. And I remember one of the first things that I did after monetizing and, after I earned money from those campaigns is I ended up buying an iPhone for myself. So, which was like a huge thing back then. And that's when I saw the potential. Yeah, this has actual potential for generating revenue consistently if you can follow it like a career path. And many did.
Indie Blogger's office was just across my office when I started with Tangerine in 2017-18. Very, very close to where I was.
Wow. So, do you know any of those folks? They were a bunch of delightful people.
Yes, they were. Not known. I've lost touch with them. We used to sometimes meet for coffee. Like we used to kind of go down together. But no, I'm not currently not in touch with them at all.
One interesting thing about what Ankita said, when she was an influencer, internet was not so busy. There weren't so many people.
Yes.
And secondly, everything was not restricted to certain platforms. People would come to your website, your blog, and read and comment and go.
And go. Yeah.
So 2004, 5-ish era is when this Internet 2.0 came in, right? And that's when earlier you published, people read and left. Then people could comment. So that is 2.0 was commentary, right? People could come in and comment.
Engage with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of spawned the social media craze also, because the technology had kept up, that two-way communication was possible.
Correct.
And unlike today, when you have like 5 platforms, I complain about this a lot. I promise I'll not do that much. But everybody did not log into Twitter and onto Instagram and onto Facebook or whatever the recent fad is, right? They genuinely went to the internet, browsed, Googled, went to the websites. There was something called as bookmarks. I know I appear old right now, but then people still use bookmarks. But we would bookmark our favorite websites and we would visit it diligently, religiously, every few days or every day. And that's how the internet worked.
Yeah.
Everybody could be a publisher. And algorithms did not restrict who saw that. Genuine interest always appeared. But of course, now we have the eternal September problem, which we were discussing a while ago. Eternal September being, new people always come in. And as they are coming in, they don't know what has happened in the past. So they start the same discussion, same discourse, same issues again and over and over and over again,
Yeah.
It's like repeatedly asking, how do I reduce the volume on my phone? Every day somebody new comes in and asks the same question. It's a stupid question. Everybody has answered it. And the veterans who not only have dealt with this question, but also done a lot of, let's say, hacking around it, are sitting there and not participating. Because the new people who are coming in are hijacking the entire discourse. So the overall quality of discourse is just in that. How is it? How are you? How is it? How are you? How is it? How are you? And now it's even worse because everything is a thumbs up or a heart. Right? Heart, right? Yeah, this is a heart now. You don't even do this anymore.
You don't need 2 hands anymore.
Yeah, you do
just 2 fingers.
So the first time I saw this, I thought somebody's asking for money. But anyway, so
this is actually a very Korean thing.
It is.
Yeah,
of course.
It's called the Korean heart.
Korean heart, yeah.
Korean heart.
The explosion started after the Korean media in India in this popularity. But okay, jokes apart, the Ankita was there at a time when that was possible. She was in the right, and it required a lot of you. It had to be you.
Because it was writing a long form content. It wasn't visual, or it wasn't like, everything finishes in a jiffy. We had not gone back to holographics, the Egyptian. I mean, in a way, if you do this entire circular journey, we started with.
It was not a pretentious SEO optimized blog.
Yes.
You were not optimizing for keywords. You were writing because
from the heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not for algorithms. Then the SEO industry took off and everything had to be optimized. Even today, friends are there who ask me, I am writing this article, can you look at it? And if keywords are right, and I say, just write it. What are you trying to answer? Why are you so worried? Blogs were web logs.
Yes.
They were equivalent to diary entries.
Digital diaries. Absolutely.
And at some point, they became information. or more like documentation of what is happening, right? So the personality was taken away from there somewhere, and but if you see, even today, authenticity, and now the authentic content is very low on the internet. Authenticity of content matters. Formats have changed. Now it's a 30-second format, and it's all ultra optimized for the consumption of the algorithm. So it's a platform algorithm first, people second. Otherwise, you're not visible anymore. And I can
Which is a conundrum, I would say, when you are professionally in charge of content marketing. You have to write for the ultimate reader, who's today, because of lack of attention span, have become people who browse and just scan instead of read. So nobody's
yeah.
reading long form that well anymore. People are just scanning through content. So your writing has to cater to that. At the same time, you have to cater to the algorithms and the SEOs, which means you have to pepper it with keywords, but also have long tail, and but also show expertise, and also optimize for AI to answer today. So there are all these contradictory mandates that are coming in. So today, being somebody who's creating content for the sake of getting something out of it, not the way I blog these days, it's like, okay, it's literally my digital diary. Whatever thought is there in my head, I'll put it down. Or I'm sharing life experiences. I do not care about metrics today. Ex-influencer, right? So I don't care about metrics. I don't care about who's following, not following, writing, not writing. Somebody comments on the blog, I'm delighted, and I'm like, oh wow, you're interacting with me. Great. If nobody reads the blog post, it's okay. I wrote it because I wanted. It has nothing to do with the readership. If you're in that space, it's a very different thing. But if you're in the space where you're doing it as an influencer, you have metrics to show to brands, and we'll probably talk about metrics sometime in the episode, or you are the marketer responsible for getting influencer marketing done and content marketing done. I think there are so many restrictions and so many things to consider. And the final product today is mix of various things. It's literally a khichdi, and lack of personality, lack of flavor, lack of style. All of this comes in because you're trying to cater to so many different things at the same time. It's very challenging.
It's a difference between the artisan and the factory. I believe so, because see, if you are a craftsman, you're crafting it because of genuine interest and your creativity and your skill and all that, right? A factory is trying to optimize firstly for the consumer and scale, but unfortunately, at some point of time, when the factory starts shifting its attention to the spreadsheet, cost saving and bottom line, the product goes to complete crap. They are catering to the spreadsheet, not to the consumer. And that's what has happened with content marketing, quote unquote, because it's neither content nor marketing. It's trying to optimize for the masses, whereas the masses are not the buyers. So the metrics that are prominently shown, like number of views, number of seconds viewed, number of people reached, number of followers, have zero meaning.
Absolutely.
Because these are not the people who are consuming your content. These are the people who are getting entertained by that content. And entertainment is not the purpose of marketing most times.
Yeah, it is not.
So when you are writing a blog article to genuinely showcase the way you use a mobile stand for something creative, let us say, it's you out of your interest sharing something. And there is another party at the end of the line who found you and is genuinely interested in what you did and wants to try it out.
Yeah.
So that is what building community is about, Anoop, don't you think? This is what
No, it's not about community at all. It's a process of discovery because somebody has genuinely put out their experience.
Yeah.
I may never interact with the person, doesn't matter, but I discovered a person who has shown me something new. And that is one of the things what AI is doing this, right? I mean, everything that was informational, not experiential, informational. Okay, how to do this, how to do that, how what is this, the meaning of that, which dress to match with which dress, which dish to make with which dish. Information is completely consumed by AI, and it can regurgitate better than you can write.
Absolutely. And faster.
So we are kind of coming full circle again, right? Authentic content is coming back in demand. Nowadays, when I am on YouTube, I only watch long form content. And if I don't see a human being there, I switch out of it because I know it is AI slop. Some of it is really good. I'm not saying, some of it is well researched. AI is doing the job. I mean, the voiceover is there and very nice graphics are there, but they are saying something which I could not have never figured out otherwise. Some historical events, some mathematical concepts, etc. But that requires a lot of production value at the back end, right? The person has to have done the research. It's not AI researched, AI produced, and AI published. No. So there again, the demand for human-led content is there. And what you said, Ankita, about the scanning of content. Here is what happens, and here is the reason I say marketing research. So a lot of anecdotal marketing research is absolute crap. The company that popularized this concept of scannability of content almost 10, 15 years ago now had done another research about 10 years after the first initial research. The initial research was people read in F pattern. So you go from read the headline, then go down, read the second headline, then go down, read the third headline, just scan. And suddenly it became very popular. I remember when it became popular, and everybody started having headlines, 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 short paragraph, headline, headline, headline. If you read the headline, you got the gist of the article, move on.
Yes.
The same company, after a decade, did this research and realized that yes, scannability gets more people to come and visit you, but less people retain it. Less number of people convert. The people who genuinely read long form content are more likely to become clients.
Yeah.
Because they're genuinely interested and they want to get into details to make a purchase decision.
And they find value. They have the patience to like closely look and examine what you have to offer.
So genuine clients will always engage with long form, deep content because it solves something for them and not the 30-second TikTok videos. In fact, there's another data point I can give you. Carousels, not the cute graphical carousels, carousels filled with text. One slide, second slide, and neatly written carousels, right? Get lesser views than reels on Instagram, obviously. But the carousel viewers are more likely to purchase than the real viewer.
Which is understandable because they're invested.
They are invested. They actually spend the time. So they are a little more educated, a little more thorough. They have some vested interest in solving that particular problem that the carousel talks about. And they also probably have the money to spend. Apparently, there is some correlation between the ability to purchase and the attention span on the internet. So,
That's
yes.
interesting. Yeah, it's also true for people like me who are creating content and writing lifestyle content on blogs or social media just for fun, and they're not really monetizing their stuff. It's the same thing. So somebody who's looking at your multiple pictures, there's a monthly photo dump that you've done, and somebody who's gone through and looked at the 6th or the 7th slide and commented about that, you know they're genuinely invested in you. So if you ever make a recommendation to them, whether you say something is good or something is not bad, the likelihood of that sticking is there. Maybe they'll buy, maybe they won't buy, but at least they will remember.
But your audience is well curated, right? I mean, the people who are watching your content or looking at their content, because it's long form, are people who are invested in that. When you recommend, they are more likely to buy.
Correct. Absolutely. I agree with you.
And that is the way the world is going. In fact, I attend a lot of these webinars. I mean, YouTube webinar, this webinar, that webinar. Everywhere people are showing these formulas. Do this, you'll become a millionaire or whatever that is, right? And I'm like, why? How is this person different from that person, right? Everything is, there's too much of sameness that is coming in. So you'll ignore. You want people who are genuine. Again, the question comes back, okay, business content. Nisha, you are at the receiving end of this many a times, right? Business content. My blog did not go viral. Nisha, you wrote something, nobody's reading it. How do you tackle that? Because business content is not supposed to be personal, not supposed to be genuine, not supposed to be long form. Just talk about our software, just talk about our toy that we sell, or our SaaS. Why are you talking about everything else? How can, again, both of you, right? This is the world today. AI slop is there, low attention span, no purchasing power, long form, genuine, deep content, less number of people. So the metrics are never met, but higher likelihood of purchases. How do you navigate this in the business context, B2B context, or let's say business content context?
Okay. Do you want to go first, Ankita?
Just 2 cents. Because I've been on the side that's responsible for putting content out for a company and was a B2B company. So one thing that was made very clear was that we're not chasing virality here. That was never the goal. Specifically in B2B, the idea is to reach the right audience and answer the questions that a purchaser who has an immediate need or might have a need in future will ask. So content is supposed to hook them in and show them the possibilities of what your product and service can do, kind of problems it solves, use cases, case studies. That's also where the humble brag comes into play. So you do all of that as a person responsible for putting out content. You do optimize for SEO. You do, because if you're not discoverable, then that's the end of the game for you. optimized for scanners, also put out. So the idea was to have a healthy mix of content. There'd be some content which is long form, more detailed. There'd be some scannable content. There also had to be some entertaining content, because business users are also humans at the end of the day. That kind of brought them and increased your discoverability chances. So kind of have a mix, but never, ever, 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 ever as a B2B person chase virality. That was something that I was very clear on.
Just to add on to that, Anoop, and Ankita's, she's wonderfully captured that. When we are doing B2B communication, it is, of course, about the product or the services that you offer in a way which is, again, not too performative, not too pretentious. Like, we're not there sitting there giving gyan. We're not gurujis of the world. We're informing the audience while also empathizing with them and treating the reader on the other side as a human being. And of course, we will answer all the questions about the products and the services. And at the same time, also take them through the process of the inner happenings of the company. This is also an opportunity to show the business culture or the kind of talent we attract, the kind of organization we are trying to build. Of course, wonderful case studies, and because that's your humble brag moment, but they're true case studies, and you have to show them again with authenticity, the failures or the challenges that you faced and how you overcame that particular challenge, what drove you into finding the solution, the people behind finding the solution, talk about them. Honestly, content is a wonderful place to be, because it allows you to be real. It allows you to look at it from a problem solving perspective, from multiple, it actually engages you on a multiple intelligence level. I feel that B2C, especially with product, fashion, lifestyle, just by the very nature of whatever it is a bit performative. It is a bit, you have to,
Yes.
I mean, you can use the words like creative and imaginative, which you would anyway apply, though not in the same degree on B2B communication, but it allows, the entire platform is set for you to be authentic and honest. And I think that's a wonderful thing.
See, okay, again, this might be slightly contradictory to what we were saying earlier. What stops B2B from being creative, from being out there, from replicating some of the best practices of so-called B2C? And I'm not talking TikTok dances and all that, no. I'm saying genuinely being in front of a camera and talking about things, right? Talking about the problems the clients face. I don't see many companies do that. It's all, as you said, Nisha, it's all performative. It's like keyword search has been done and this question has to be answered. Why is it so? And why can't it be different? Some companies do that really well. I'm not saying that they don't, but most of it is so
Dry.
blah. I mean, dry is still okay. Expectations are met when it's dry. It's not controversial, but it's just sameness. It's many a times, and this has happened with my friend who does some wonderful website designs and all that. Goes to company A, takes the competitor's website, replaces the logo with this company's website, and presents it to the management team. And they're like, amazing, our website looks so good, and blah, blah, blah. And he says, you guys are idiots. You really don't know what you're doing, because see, this is your competitor's website, right? You are so careful about that crafted persona that you want to play it so safe that you, your competitor, and their uncles and aunts all sound the same.
It's also got to do with when I'm putting content out as an individual, I'm not answerable to anybody. It's Ankita owns the website, Ankita decides what to put out. Nobody is regulating me unless I do something illegal or end up offending somebody. That's a completely different thing. As long as, I can be as creative as I want, there's nobody to answer to. There are no repercussions. Other than trolling, there are no repercussions of what my content could bring to me. What happens in a B2B scenario is the people who are responsible for putting content out there are, at the end of the day, employees. And again, they have KPIs to meet, but everything that you do in a corporate environment is to make sure that you are not sticking your neck out in a bad way. You're keeping your job, right? That's there. You have those boundaries. The decision makers, the people who approve, are also employees. So there are these, corporate guidelines that you have to meet. There are these things that you can and cannot do. But there are very strict boundaries given to you. And to the inertia to do something different outside that boundaries, there's so much of pushback and there's so much of hesitation and fear that it could come back negatively on, that people don't attempt it. And it's with good reason. If you put out content that has a negative impact on the company's stocks can come down if it's a large enough company. It has happened due to controversies. The company's lost valuation. So the stakes are so high in B2B that people are forced to play safe. That's what I believe.
See, I have played in the B2B arena too, and I can tell you
Yeah.
something. It's this fear, dilution by committee, right? I call it dilution by committee because a junior comes up and recommends dress up the CEO as a clown. Somebody says, no, it doesn't match the corporate color, so it has to stick to the corporate colors. The clown is not colorful, it's only gray and blue. And somebody says, oh, the gray and blue looks scary, let's remove the paint and the makeup. Okay, the paint and makeup is gone. Now the CEO looks like the CEO in a gray and blue suit, exactly like he normally does. And then let's say there were captions which were funny, no, this word is not approved by the corporate lawyer, right? And you remove that.
Absolutely.
And by the end of the entire exercise, what happens is you get blah, right?
Yes.
Nothing controversial,
It
plain,
has
boring.
to match the brand book.
No, there are too many stakeholders who have their own say, who want to feel they're important. And the funniest thing in B2B, and this is what I keep saying to a lot of my clients too, the bar is so low. The bar is so low in B2B. Do something a little different. You'll be better, but they're so scared.
Bar is low because there's a lot of pressure holding the bar down.
Yeah,
There's a lot of, reverse thing required to push it
the
up.
bar. Yeah.
Bar has a couple of meanings. But I do feel elevating yourself a little different really helps. I really want this older era to come back when all this creative decision making was outsourced to
An agency.
creative agencies.
Advertising agencies and creative agencies.
They absolute authority on running these things. They could genuinely come up with something creative out of the blue, and the corporate just
Because
approves it and it runs.
they were run by mavericks who did not care, who cared two hoots for anybody else. And they
Precisely.
intimidated the employees, and everybody was like, yes, sir,
Precisely.
Which was a good thing.
Then the unholy marriage of media and creatives happened at some point of time. The media started dictating what should happen. And now, of course, it's separating out because of various reasons. But coming back to being an influencer, I think, Ankita, it's time to put on your influencer hat once again and come back. Don't be an ex-influencer anymore, because the time is now. It's ripe. It's a lot of disruption thanks to AI, this, that, and all that other nonsense. And there's a space. There's a space for people who have thought, who have point of view, who have informed opinions, and are not regurgitating what somebody else has already done or said, or are not reacting to another video which is also a reaction video. That's the most ridiculous thing. But
it's like those clubhouse days when, if you're not happy in a room, you will just go out and start your own room.
Just start another room dissing this room. But that still happens, by the way. I realized it a few months back.
But there's space now, right?
Yeah, there is space.
And I believe, of course, the SEO story is getting a hit and all that. But people are craving something different, something better, something
actually
deeper.
Real. I think AI push is driving people back to humans again.
What are you saying? But the AI companies don't say that.
No, I mean,
of course they don't.
It's nuanced, Anoop. That's, I think, for another episode.
That's a longer discussion.
For another conversation. But yes, the time to come back is there, and absolutely. I do write once in 6 months. I think we just have to increase the frequency of that.
And you also have an opportunity to start a course. How to become an influencer from an ex-influencer. That is a trend nowadays.
That also. And priced only at $99.
No. You have to start with a 99 rupees free webinar and then upsell a 2,000 rupees No, you have to upsell a 50,000 rupees program, which you will give for a limited time for 2,000 rupees. Bring people to that 3 day. It's a 3-day affair.
3 days too long.
6 hours or something, where you will upsell your life-changing, multi-millionaire making 5 lakh rupee or 25,000 rupee, whatever that amount is, right? So multiple steps to scam people. That's a topic for another day, another time, another episode, and we'll have Ankita back with us
soon.
Quite soon. Till
pleasure, guys. Always a pleasure talking to you. Bye-bye.
Pleasure having you too. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye. Take care.